are looking live inside Bill Griehe Arena. Saturday afternoon doubleheader concludes with this one. Heartland Conference clash between the St. Mary's Rattlers and the Oklahoma Panhandle State University Aggies. David Tovar, Brian McGlue with you. And while on paper, Brian, this may not look like a doozy. Neither did the one against Newman, and that one went all the way down to the wire with the Rattlers surviving 67-66. This one will pit the St. Mary's Rattlers. Rattlers come in with a very impressive 14-4 record. They are 7-3 in conference play, 8-2 here at home, and on a 2-game win streak, including that win against Newman. 5 on the floor in Rattler gold are Justin Alexander, Isaiah Matthews, J.J. Bolton, Marvin Binney, and Marvin Witt. Starting for Oklahoma Panhandle State is Chris Randolph, Zilligan Jones, Bill Lee Jr., T.J. Farrell, and Dwayne Matthews. Now, Brian, no secret here. Looking at the records, OPSU not exactly on the good side of the records. They come in with a very meek 1-19 record. They've lost 6 straight. They're 0-13 away from home, and their only win came on the 11th of January against Rogers State. But St. Mary's, this isn't a game they can take lightly.
Oh, yes, indeed. All Heartland Conference games very important as the Rattlers turn the ball over here. But it is crucial for a team like the Rattlers, who are trying to clinch a berth in the Heartland Conference tournament, to win these games that are obviously winnable. As a great move there.
That's a great point. I mean, it's essentially a gimme. If you look at the schedule, if you look on the calendar, as Matthews goes up and he has fouled, he'll head to the line. Essentially a gimme, and you're right, this team is not built for competing and winning per se. This team has not only Heartland Conference title hopes, they've won the last 2. They have tournament hopes, and with winning 2 straight conference titles, as Matthews gets the first one to fall, you kind of start a little bit of the national title talk, which is what this team is built for.
Matthews hitting the second, and I completely agree. This team built for a long run in not just the regular season, but in the tournament as well. The Rattlers have the experience and the versatility to do so, as a foul is called on Justin Alexander. That'll be his first. But the Rattlers, they've been hitting their stride as of late. They've won their last 2 home games. Justin Alexander making his presence felt early on. The Rattlers won an impressive victory over Newman at home, escaping by the skin of their teeth, winning 67-66. And the Rattlers, as I mentioned earlier, hitting their stride at the right time.
Oh, indeed. They visited peaks and valleys. In their last 5 games before the Neiman game, they won, lost, and won games. And they've strung off 2 straight, those coming against Oklahoma Christian and the Newman. So the Rattlers need to hit their stride, especially here, maybe rack up 3 straight wins. We saw the Lady Rattlers break out of a 3-game funk with their victory over OPSU in the opener this Saturday afternoon. They won 59-48. St. Mary's looking to duplicate that effort here. Ball goes out of bounds. It'll be St. Mary's basketball. They'll inbound from under their basket. Now Alexander, top of the key, swings it over. There's Marvin Witt going to launch for 3. Just short, no good. Rebound comes out to the Aggies, who are in royal blue. Good job there by Binney, playing the passing lanes. Good defense. Now Binney on the run, drives, floats one up, no good. And now here come the Aggies on the run. Here's Lee, drops it off, and that is good. T.J. Farrell able to finish that play, and we're all leaving at 2 apiece.
On that previous possession, it looked to me as if Binney was surprised to go into the lane untouched, and he wasn't able to finish on that play.
Hey, he's waiting for the contact. The guy who gets bumped quite a bit as he's a slasher. J.J. Bolton's really come on for the St. Mary's Rattlers. First year as a Rattler, he has the only 2 double-doubles that the Rattlers have registered. And, of course, coming from a precarious position, he's a small forward on the floor, but he rebounds very well, and he has shown to have some offense in his game. Also a very good passer. He's shown that off in the last couple of games. As this 3 is launched by the Aggies, no good, and here's Bolton rebounding right on cue. Looking down low for Alexander. Alexander, who had a career game against Newman on Thursday night, 19 points, 13 rebounds for the transfer from Central Connecticut, the young man out of San Antonio Southwest. Justin Alexander, really come on, I'm a huge fan of his. Brian, so fun to watch. He's tall. Of course, when you're Alexander and you have to follow Kevin Kotzer, the comparisons never really quite leave, and those 2 guys are kind of tied to each other, at least for the foreseeable future. But Alexander's done a good job of holding his own. Maybe he doesn't have that consistent presence of, 20 and 10, 18 and 10, but he's a consistent presence defensively. As you saw earlier, got that big block. But also one of those players, he's just very smart, very long, athletically gifted, able to find it for the Rattlers on certain nights.
Alexander, as you mentioned, had a career night on Thursday, and that one goes for the Aggies. But Alexander has always been a smart, versatile player, and he's been a definite post present for the Rattlers. On Thursday night against Newman, over half his rebounds were on the offensive end, as a foul is called on the play on Jones. That is his second personal foul. But to finish my point about Justin Alexander, he, just like every one of these Rattler players, can go off at any time. If you're the opposing team, you just don't know who you're going to get at any given night.
Yeah, if you're the opposing coach, the Rattlers are like a box of chocolates. You'll never know exactly what you're going to get. This team does it by committee. They have their leading scorer, of course, Marvin Witt, averages a hair over 14 a game. And then you got 3 guys who average right above 9 points a game. Here's one of them, Marvin Binney, all the way to the basket. He gets that to go. And when you get Marvin Binney going early, it's a good sign for St. Mary's. The other 2 players who have scored in this game, Matthews and Alexander, also average over 9 points. So you got 4 guys who can give you almost double figures. You got J.J. Bolton, who has come on. He's about around 7 or 8 points a game. And again, that lane is way too open. Dwayne Matthews gets all the way through. And the Aggies have an early 8-6 lead.
And Coach Zelznak bringing in 2 bigs, following the next dead ball, which is right now, as Isaiah Matthews is called for the offensive foul.
We'll see Monroe and Thomas check in. When we come back, 2-point lead for the Aggies early on versus the St. Mary's Rattlers. Stay with us. You're watching all the action on the Rattler Network. Welcome back, Rattler fans. 15-14 remaining in the first half. Say that 10 times. 8-6 the score. The Aggies lead it early over the St. Mary's Rattlers. David Tovar, Brian McGulion with you. Super weekend. Can't say that other word. But it's a super weekend here for St. Mary's as well. You got 4 sports going on simultaneously. Women's basketball, men's basketball, softball, and baseball all going on in one day. RattlerAthletics.com will be full of content by night's end. Here's Binney on the run again, getting to the lane. Not able to finish, favoring his shoulder just a little bit. Hopefully not too serious. Of course, we'll be keeping an eye on that as the game continues. That shot no good by Farrell. And now the Rattlers have it, and Binney will slow it down. You know, Binney did miss some games earlier this year. A little bit of a nagging knee issue. And, I mean, this team is just so different with Binney on the floor.
Bolton hitting a 3 right there. And as you mentioned about Binney, the team looks completely different with a guy like Marvin Binney, who's very athletic, a great perimeter player, great ball handler as well. And he can create so much offense, not just for his teammates, but for himself as well.
Talk about the versatility of Marvin Binney playing point guard, and I mean he's kind of in the mold of a Westbrook, of a Derrick Rose, athletic guys who can get to the basket, who can slash, get all the way to the rim, but entrusted by Coach Selzniak to take over the ball handling duties and the playmaking duties as well, and he's done a great job. 1 and 2 with Marvin Witt on assists in the assist leader column on this team, and there is Binney showing off the offensive prowess as he will head to the line. First free throw for Binney is good, and the Rattlers now take a 10-8 lead. Binney, the native of Toronto, Canada. How versatile this team is, how widespread this Rattler team has been over the years. We've had players from California, we've had players from Mexico City. St. Mary's Rattler Nation really extends internationally. A
very diverse group of not just players, but students as well on campus.
Blocked by Witt, and here come the Rattlers. And that will head out of bounds. The Rattlers will stay with it, but you're absolutely right. And it really goes to display, as you mentioned, the diversity, of all the students on campus. You got, you know, I don't know how many different countries are represented by the student body, and it's always fun. And, of course, student body out at the park right now. Some Rowdy Rattlers have filed in, others over at the park at St. Mary's. Softball getting their season started. We'll have more news on them as the game continues. First free throw for Binney is no good. Substitution time for St. Mary's. Bryce Smith, and he checks in for Binney. Bolton misses both free throws, which is rare. Bolton hit a big free throw against Newman on Thursday night.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier on during the women's game, Bolton hit a free throw with 3 seconds left to give the Rattlers the 67-66 lead, and which ultimately was the final score. Bolton was the first Rattler to register a double-double this season, and so on any given time, just like I mentioned earlier, any Rattler can go off, and Bolton definitely one of them.
Fred Wilson now checks in for J.J. Bolton. Wilson, of course, having that huge block in the second half against Newman and send the crowd into a frenzy and really turn the game for St. Mary's. Wilson, of course, another one of those guys who can do a little bit of everything right there, showing off the jump shot. He's a great spot-up shooter, and he's also one of the better defenders on this team. His length and his athleticism right there. Guarding a taller defender, but Wilson, of course, quick enough to keep up. That three is launched way off the mark and going into the stands is number 20, Kassan Sands, and Sands almost taking out one of the Code Blue dance team members. Little shaken but not stirred. 12-8 the score here. As Bryce Smith and now Cameron Pierce checking in. And Cameron Pierce, one of those players added mid-season. You rarely see that in here at the college level, but that's why they added them.
Right on cue, Pierce hits the mid-range jumper, and Pierce with that silky smooth stroke can light it up from the outside like the best of them.
Yeah, we're talking about player comparisons to those in the pros, and Cameron Pierce, one of those guys, reminds you of J.J. Redick. Just a very smart player. You can see his basketball IQ from his passes, and then you can see that, as you mentioned, silky, smooth jump shot. Sands will head to the line as he has fouled. That foul will go against Thomas, the 4th team foul for the Rattlers.
And back to Cameron Pierce, I compared his shot to the likes of Ray Allen and Steph Curry. That quick release, always vital for shooters to get the ball off ahead of the defense before the defense gets anywhere near you.
Second free throw is good. And now the Rattler lead back down to 5. Wilson up top to Thomas. Thomas looking. Well defended. Now finds Smith. Joe Monroe trying to post. Smith opts for Pierce. Now down low to Thomas, and he is stripped. Ball is loose. And a skirmish on the floor will have possession for the Aggies. Now a timeout is taken. Second media timeout of the afternoon. A 5-point lead for the Rattlers. They have jumped out to a 8-3 run. Leaded by 5. Stay with us. More upcoming on the Rattler Network. Welcome back. 14-9 the score in the first half. 11:39 remaining. Inside Bill Gree Arena, David Tovar, Brian McGlue on with you. Thank you for joining us on this Super Saturday. Of course, the eve of the Super game. I'm going to try my best to not mention that game by name. The Roman numeral game.
The 48th edition, if you will.
Of that Roman numeral game. Jumper is good for OPSU. That was number 21, Bill Lee Jr. As he has 4 points to lead the Aggies. They are now in double digits. 14-11 the score. Rattlers trying to get it going offensively. They went on an 8-3 run after the first timeout of the game. Here's Pierce, gonna let it fly. That shot off the mark, no good, and Monroe not able to corral that one. It goes out of play, and it will belong to the Aggies of Goodwill, Oklahoma.
OPSU lucky on that possession. They lost track of Cameron Pierce on the right side of the floor. Pierce unable to connect with the open look, however.
Here come the Aggies. Nice shaking and baking. A tough shot. No good. Jeremy Newton doesn't get that one to fall, and the rebound is for St. Mary's. Bryce Smith now controlling. He's really come on here. Cameron Pierce going to let it fly again, and that's good. From way downtown, Cameron Pierce. 5 points for Pierce off the bench, and that's one of those guys that in a game like this against a team that's 1-19 and 0-13 on the road, you really want to get those guys going. You want to get a Bryce Smith going, you want to get a Cameron Pierce going, maybe even a Ryan Thomas, a Fred Wilson, guys on the bench, and here's Pierce again. He's going to let it fly. And it is good again.
Pierce, ice blood in his veins, hitting back-to-back threes.
A bloody three. 20-11 to score. Now the Aggies trying to find an answer. Newton gets that to go, and he answers back with a three of his own. Silencing the crowd just a little bit. Now back down to a 6-point lead for St. Mary's. Let's see what Cameron Pierce has. He's going to take it up again. He's feeling it. That one just a little short. Mistimed that one. A little bit of an alligator arm to that layup. And here come the Aggies. A three, another one. And it is raining threes inside Bill Gree Arena. 4 consecutive threes in 4 consecutive possessions. And we are back within 3.
Both teams hot shooting from the field as a foul is called on number 21, Bill Lee Jr.
And that will put Joe Monroe at the line. Rattlers well in the bonus. Monroe from San Antonio Stevens, the redshirt junior. Well documented is his crazy athleticism. He's a dunk artist in the preseason pep rally, Rattler Madness. Monroe dunking over some of his teammates. First free throw is good, but Monroe has really improved in a lot of facets of the game. He's become a much better post scorer. He's really using that athleticism to his full advantage. He's learning the footwork, and he's learning how to score around the rim. And of course, the athleticism has always garnered rebounds and extra possessions and putbacks and dunks, but it's really refining that game that has really made Monroe a huge part of this Rattler offense and this Rattler team. Efiake now checks in for Monroe. He'll join Smith, Thomas, Pierce, and Wilson in Rattler gold. Oh, sloppy ball handling here by OPSU. They'll stay with it. Shot clock approaching 10 on the Aggies. Here's Jones, and he is rejected. AK getting a hand on this one. Now Pierce. Like to stop, and now he's going to shoot. That shot, no good. Wilson going to save it, and now Pierce will save it.
Great hustle by the Rattlers as they preserve another possession.
Wilson has all day to shoot this one, and he makes it count. Fred Wilson's jumper is good. 24-17. What a definitely an unorthodox stretch of basketball there. The Rattlers make it count. They get 2. And now the Aggies trying to get to the Hardaway. They turn it over. Ryan Thomas able to come up with that loose ball. High energy here by this Rattler second unit. Wilson again launches that shot, no good. And the rebound finally corralled by Jones and the Aggies.
Oh, man.
Tumbling. and it all started with a head fake from TJ Farrell. And he attracted 3 Rattlers, including Wilson, making some of these cheerleaders a little jealous with his tumbling skills. Doing a great job going overhead. Alexander will check back in.
An impressive several sequences by both teams, more specifically the Rattlers. Impressive hustle plays. The Rattlers able to preserve possessions, and on the last one, Fred Wilson able to get a jumper to go. The Rattlers lead by 7 with 7.5 remaining.
Stay with us. More coming on the Rattler Network.
Before the shot, Aggie basketball.
Welcome back, Rattler fans. 7:32 remaining in the first half. A fun sequence of basketball. 4 straight three-pointers exchanged by both these teams, and then bodies flying all over the floor as the putback is good for OPSU. 5-point game once again. That putback good by Kassan Sands. Alexander, great back door. Pierce not able to finish. Good defense there by the Aggies to recover. Here come OPSU. Jones dribbling. Trying to look for Farrell. Finds him. Nothing to it. And another shot is good by Sands. And just like that, OPSU not going away. Rattlers trying their best to blow this open. And the Aggies have fought in the trenches alongside with St. Mary's. Not trying to give an inch. Here's AK. Stifled at the top of the key. Finds Smith. Down low, Alexander. Good dish.
Great feed. That was a great feed by Smith, finding Alexander, who rolled off a pick and was open under the basket.
Now a three is launched, and that is way off the mark. One would think that was probably outside of his range. Now we're looking at our roster here, and I don't know if you have your roster. Is there a 33 on your roster?
No,
I don't have a 33 on my roster either, so we'll go with number 33, missing that one wide right. 26-21 is still the score here. We're approaching 5 minutes to play in this first half. St. Mary's looking to get their 3rd straight win and improve in conference play to 8-3 with a victory here over Oklahoma Panhandle State. Marvin Binney from Alexander almost loses possession, able to recover. Here's Binney again, puts it on the floor, almost loses it, has to toss one up, and he is bailed out there as a bad foul by TJ Farrell would put Binney at the line.
And that play right there was a prime example of Marvin Binney creating something out of nothing right there. The shot clock running down, and the Rattlers almost had nothing, well, quite frankly, had nothing going for them offensively, and Binney was able to draw the foul.
You remember last year, Mose and Dufu and Darryl Taylor would be those guys who can maybe create their own shot and get something going when the offense was stagnant or maybe in a tough spot. Come tournament time, you're going to see Marvin Binney and Marvin Witt and maybe Cameron Pierce and maybe Fred Wilson and J.J. Bolton be those guys, which is, you know, a very good predicament to be in if you're St. Mary's, as Binney doesn't get that first free throw of a 1-1 to go. Here come the Aggies now. Jones handling, defended by Binney. Jones uses the screen, and he slips, and that is out of bounds, and the referee's going to call a foul.
And the foul, I believe, is called on Marvin Binney. That'll be his first personal foul. The next team foul for the Rattlers will result in a 1-on-1 for the Aggies.
Fred Wilson over at the trainer's table, getting retaped. Remember, he did take that tumble on Farrell. Hopefully he will be just fine and ready to return to action as we're heading down the stretch. Right around 8-9 games remaining on the schedules for a lot of these Heartland Conference teams, so this is definitely going to be the home stretch in the Heartland Conference. St. Mary's will be on the road after this game, as Newton will head to the line. The Rattlers will be visiting Claremore, Oklahoma. They'll be taking on Rogers State on the 6th of February, and then they'll be over in Arkansas, Fort Smith on the 8th. First free throw, no good. Excuse me, first free throw is good.
Newton, an excellent free throw shooter, shooting a hair under 82% on the season.
And And the Aggies get both free throws to go. So Pierce will check out and Marvin Witt will check back in. Smith, Bolton, Alexander, and AK, the 5 on the floor for St. Mary's. Ball being moved around well. Here's Bryce Smith. Really taking a hold of this offense and an offensive foul. And I think they're going to call it on J.J. Bolton, the cutting Bolton.
On that play, Bolton was trying to set a screen to free up Alexander. The referee was watching the whole way and caught Bolton with the push.
Aggies here with a good chance to get within one or even tie this ball game. They're going to call an offensive foul. That will go against Dwayne Matthews. Nothing doing there for the Aggies.
And already that is Matthews' 3rd personal foul. He'll take a seat probably for the remainder of this first half.
St. Mary's has to get another basket here. Falling a little stagnant. This lead now only up to 3.
Alexander down low trying to post up.
He's got the height advantage. Here's Witt driving, and that's exactly where the Rattlers want to see get going.
Marvin Witt, an impressive move down the baseline, able to finish with the right hand as AK with another block.
Here's Witt finishing. With the putback.
An impressive sequence by AK with the block on one end and the follow on the other.
There's OPSU, and they answer back. Newton, big three-pointer there. And again, the crowd quieted, at least momentarily, after the AK putback dunk. Let's see what the Rattlers have here. Marvin Witt trying to get this offense going. Made some nice plays here the last couple possessions. Bolton, download Alexander. And all you can do is just try to foul him. Much, much taller than Hassan Sands. Sands 6'4", Alexander 6'10". Numbers never lie. 30-26 is the score. Stay with us, more upcoming as we'll conclude the first half of action. Rattlers and Aggies on the Rattler Network.
Welcome back, Rattler fans. 3:38 remaining here in the first half. Justin Alexander nailing the first of 2 free throws, extending St. Mary's lead to 5. Brian Magliwan joined here with David Tovar. Alexander a little too strong on the second free throw. In the past several minutes, the Rattlers have picked up their intensity. High-octane offense and great defense combining for this mini Rattler run.
Here is Bryce Smith now handling. Looking and finding Alexander down low. Witt cutting. And the Rattlers will reset here. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Bolton picks up his dribble. Here's Witt looking for the 3, steps into it. And that one misses everything. Here come the Aggies. Looking to push. Jones. Count it, and the foul. Jeremy Newton again. That is Newton's third three-pointer of the game.
And Newton has a chance to hit the 4-point play. On the season, Newton shooting 35% from behind the three-point arc. And so far, he's nailed 3 here in the first half.
With a chance to add one more and complete a 4-point play. The Lady Aggies' Sarah Johnson also had a 4-point play earlier this afternoon inside Bill Grahey Arena. And symmetrically, Newton adds his 4-point play. 30-31, a 1-point game here. Number 3 team, St. Mary's Rattlers, against the record-wise worst team in the Heartland Conference. And this one is a little bit of a dogfight. Aggies not going away. Their hot shooting has kept them in this one. And the Rattlers at the line need to start building their lead again. First free throw for Matthews is good.
Matthews, a 75% free throw shooter for the season.
Matthews, another one of those players who's really improved many facets of his game. Another guy who well touted for his athleticism and has really worked on his footwork, and a smart guy off the court. Brilliant. Studies, I believe, engineering, a computer whiz, a master editor on of films and photography, and really just applying his smarts to the basketball court. Here's Witt for 3. No good, and the putback by J.J. Bolton.
An impressive play by J.J. Bolton. He was left untouched. No one boxed him out on that play, and it left him wide open for the easy tip-in.
35-30 the score. Stay with us, more upcoming. Almost at the 2-minute warning. Rattlers lead the Aggies by 5. Welcome back, Rattler fans. Aggies swinging it around, and they're going to get a good look from 3, and that's Newton again. Make it 4 from way downtown. Jeremy Newton, the 6'2" guard from Chicago, Illinois, bringing it to San Antonio.
Newton already with 15 points, and on the season he's averaging 13.7, so he's matched and done better than his average all in the first half. Yes.
Here's Jones working on Witt, looking to tie this one up. Oh, Rattlers lucky there, no call. Now they're on the run. Here's Bolton working on the right side. Gonna hold this possession. Witt trying to get it going. Jumper no good. Alexander able to corral the offensive board, and it will be a foul. There's been a couple beneficiaries from Witt's struggles this afternoon. Ifieke with that putback dunk, J.J. Bolton with the putback, and Alexander there conceivably could have had a putback had he not been harassed on that play. 35-33, first free throw is good. Alexander with 6 points. Bolton with 5, Cameron Pierce with 5. To lead the Rattlers in scoring. Of course, Jeremy Newton leading the Aggies in scoring. He has 15, as we mentioned, including a 4-point play. Witt almost coming up with that steal. Here come the Aggies on the run. And Marvin Witt, one of those guys who, if he can't get it going offensively, if he can't see the ball going through the basket, he's going to try to contribute in other ways. Count it and the foul.
And once again, Jeremy Newton hitting the layup and getting fouled.
Oh, he has been terrific. 17 already for him. Wilson checking in, and one would assume that he'll be trying to check Newton. Free throw is good, and Newton in the zone here. 4 3-pointers, knocking down his free throws. He has been playing very well. Once again, a 1-point lead for St. Mary's. OPSU on a 6-2 run. As we are approaching the 1-minute mark here in the first half. Here comes Wilson. Bumped, and he will head to the line.
And Wilson immediately making his presence felt, coming back onto the floor, drawing the foul, and he'll head to the line to shoot 2.
At the line, shooting 2. 32 for Wilson.
Wilson's first free throw is no good.
Wilson, a 64% free throw shooter for the season, as he averages just over 5 points per game, but it's his defensive intensity that's what makes him a key piece for the Rattlers.
2 big misses there as we are under a minute remaining here in the first half. 37-36. Here is Farrell. Finds Newton. He's had the hot hand. Marvin Witt guarding him, and he does a great job with the interception, trying to bounce it off Newton, and it will stay with the Aggies. Now, we've seen this before. We've seen Marvin Witt matched up with the hot shooter, and he's done a great job stifling. Now, one would ask, why would you match him up against the taller player? Marvin Witt, of course, 5'11", Newton 6'2". Witt, of course, give up 3 inches, but Witt very, small in stature, so he's quick and he can really disturb a player's shooting motion, even his dribbling. And let's see if that works out for St. Mary's. 30 seconds remaining in the Rattlers' half possession. Witt will get it up court, and they'll have the last shot here. Now approaching 10 seconds. Here's Smith getting the offense rolling. Wilson, left side. Smith is going to have to take this one. Drops it off to Matthews, and Alexander looking to finish, and good! Alexander caps off the half.
That was a great play by Justin Alexander to finish the half for the Rattlers, extending their lead to 3 just before the half.
Rattler fans, stay with us. At the half, St. Mary's leads it by 3. 39-36 over the Oklahoma Panhandle State University Aggies, right here on the Rattler Network. Welcome back, Rattler fans. Start of the second half underway inside Bill Gree here. You know, the St. Mary's Rattlers lead it 39-36 over the Oklahoma Panhandle State University Aggies. David Tovar, Brian McGlullion on with you. And what I don't think either of us expected to be a back and forth affair has been exactly that. Aggies 1-19 on the year, 1 win in 20 attempts. They're 0-13 on the road, and they are within 3 points. At times have been within 1 of the St. Mary's Rattlers. Here's Matthews trying to get the second half going, and he will start his second half at the line.
That was a great play by J.J. Bolton right there, driving baseline, depositing a nice pass to Matthews, who was able to draw the foul. Matthews unable to hit on that first one. He's an excellent free throw shooter, shooting just under 75% for the season as he gets that one to go.
Pretty good for a big man, and splits the free throws. 40-36 now the score. Starting the second half in Rattler gold. Binney, Witt, Bolton, Matthews, and Alexander. Alexander the high man with 9. Cameron Pierce with 8 off the bench. Matthews with 5. Those 3 pacing the Rattlers currently. Nice little finger roll there for the Aggies. That's number 21, Bill Lee Jr. 38-40 now. Rattlers at times in the first half felt privy to some stagnant offense, and Binney there finds Matthews, and Matthews trying to get it going here.
That was a great pass by Binney, putting it in a spot where only Matthews could get it, and it led him right to the basket.
Matthews did a good job sealing out and getting the easy bucket there. Ball being swung around. Lee Jr. again, up and under, and that is good. Neck and neck game here, Aggies. I mentioned this earlier in a dogfight with St. Mary's within 2. Rattler swinging the ball around. Alexander trying to get position. Feels like he has it. Bolton not able to get it to him. Still playing his time on the shot clock. Now Binney drops it off to Witt. Bolton again, under 10 seconds on the shot clock now. Bolton down low, Alexander. Good job, everything but the finish. And there will be a loose ball foul when it goes against the Rattlers. It'll be on Isaiah Matthews.
Tough break for Alexander. Got great position, but the roll just didn't go his way.
Yeah, tough break for the Rattlers indeed. Alexander wasn't able to get the roll. Matthews called for a loose ball foul. And just like that, it's a 2-point game.
Now for St. Mary's on this defensive possession, I'd keep an eye out for Lee Jr., who right on cue is attacking the basket.
And that shot almost fell for Dwayne Matthews. Matthews, of course, picked up 3 fouls in the first half, had to watch a majority of it from the bench. Now back on the floor, able to draw the foul on Matthews, and Matthews has picked up 3, and that will prompt Monroe to head to the scorer's table. Matthews on Matthews. Dwayne at the line. First one is good. 3 points on the afternoon for Dwayne Matthews as he brings his Aggies within 1. Monroe checks in for Matthews. And the Rattlers will try to look for an answer offensively after this free throw. Two for 2. 42 all here as we are just about 2.5 minutes into this second half. All even at 42. A precarious position for St. Mary's. You're going to get a timeout here. Binney having to burn one as he is trapped at the half court, and Maybe it's a good timeout. St. Mary's needs to find some answers. They need to find them quick. 42-42 in the second half. Welcome back, Rattler fans. Second half underway. 17-20 remaining in regulation. All even at 42 between the Rattlers and Aggies. Here is the drive by Bolton. Monroe with the putback. Not able to get it, and he is fouled. Let's see what they'll call it against. Going to be on 22, TJ Farrell. That is his third. And it will put Monroe at the line. Something that really hurt the Aggies in the first half was putting St. Mary's at the line early. Rattlers in the bonus with well over half of that half remaining. As Monroe gets that first free throw to go. Of course, we look back at the first half and we remember Jeremy Newton off the bench with, how many did he finish off with, 15 or 18? And here he comes, right on cue.
He was on fire from behind the three-point line.
Yeah, he connected on 4 3-pointers and including a 4-point play. Monroe trying to get to that. They're going to call it a goaltend as Monroe gets both his free throws to go and then gives away 2 free points on the other side.
That was a bang-bang play right there. Monroe looked to me as if he got a piece of the ball before it hit the backboard, but the referees didn't see it that way.
So here come the Rattlers now. Benny looking, finding a Monroe who's posted. Monroe trying to work on Lee Jr. Now Benny puts it on the floor. Hard drive to the basket. And the ball goes out of bounds behind the Rattler bench. And we're still even at 44.
Oh, great hands right there by Benny. But now he is in a precarious position, able to get it to Witt.
Witt for 3. That shot no good. Ball batted, and the Rattlers will keep possession. Benny finds Witt. Arvin to Marvin. Now Alexander, top of the key. Screen set by Monroe. Bolton uses it. Right side. And the ball being passed around nicely. Looking for an open shot. Monroe. And that one headed toward Code Blue. And they again duck for cover, as we will also duck for cover on this timeout. 44 all. This one is shaping to be rather interesting. And I don't think anybody had the over on that one. Stay with us. More upcoming on the Rattler Network. Welcome back, Rattler fans. 44 all here as we are approaching 15 minutes. Bolton's shot no good. He stays with it. Gets all the way to the rim. Counted. And the foul. That will put Bolton at the line with a chance to increase the Rattlers' lead.
Great play by J.J. Bolton following his own miss and going back up strong. And now he has the chance for the three-point play.
It is going to take that kind of effort for St. Mary's to stave off the OPSU Aggies, as we've talked about all broadcaster. 1-19 on the year. Only 1-9 in conference play as Bolton gets that free throw to go. Game, you look on the calendar and you really don't expect it to be a game, really. Rattlers number 3 in the conference. They have a very impressive 14-4 record. And they have been, to put it lightly, struggling against OPSU, but this could be the turnaround. Here's Bolton again, going to take it all the way. And again, he will, whoa, they're going to call an offensive foul on J.J. Bolton.
That was a bang-bang play right there. Initially, the referee might have been considering a block, but upon further review, decided otherwise and called the charge on Bolton.
Yeah, upon instantaneous further review, he's going to stamp Bolton with the offensive foul, and right back the other way. It will be an offensive foul on number 15, Zilligan Jones.
Here comes
Bolton feeding it in to Monroe, and now
a little bit of a skirmish here.
And double technicals
Whoa,
called.
why is there a double technical? I don't think Monroe did anything, and Coach Zelznak up in arms, and rightfully so. Monroe not trying to exacerbate the situation. Took the high road, just turned his cheek literally.
I think what it was that immediately after the foul, it was a hard foul. Monroe didn't appreciate it and gave a shove back. And normally it was a case of the referees seeing the second foul occur.
Well, they saw the first one, and they saw the reaction of Sands as well.
And if you're St. Mary's, this is not what you want to happen, especially in a tight game.
You really don't want to see your players lose their heads, but you also... not sure there. Just don't really think that double technical is warranted. The referee's going to review it here, and they're going to come up with a decision. 47-44 is the score. 14:43 remaining.
We have double technical fouls.
And they will assess a double technical foul.
OPSU, number 20, Keyshawn Sands. That's his third
We'll be on it. Keyshawn Sands and on Joe Monroe.
That's his first personal, fourth team foul. And now the referee
And so they're going to take time to review it, and we'll take a timeout with them. Rattler fans, stay with us. More upcoming. 47-44 is the score. Rattlers lead it from Bill Griehe Arena. Welcome back. After the booth review, they will assess double technicals, but no free throws. They like a penalty for encroachment and false start. They offset. And so these will offset, but the ball doesn't lie, and Monroe will head to the free throw line as he looks to redeem himself. Brett Wilson checking in for the St. Mary's Rattlers. 47-44 the score. An update from softball as St. Mary's opens up against ECU. The Rattler softball leads by 2-0. A home run from Taylor Vidrina is the first at the softball stadium in its 2-hour history. That'll be a footnote in many Rattler booklets to come. Both free throws are good from Monroe, and it's, you know, we talked about after the technical, I mean, you don't want to lose your head, and was this good or bad? Personally, I think it's kind of good. It gets the Rattlers fired up. Looks like I got Monroe fired up. He's focused, got those 2 free throws to go. Let's see how the Aggies respond. Here's Newton, and Witt doing a great job there. That's exactly what you put him on Newton for. And he is tagged with a foul, but a great job there using his hands and almost stripping Newton.
And so far in the second half, Newton has been a non-factor. This will be his first attempt at scoring, and he misses. Finished the first half with 18 points, and now he's looking to break into the second half.
So his second free throw is good, and that is going to put Newton at 19 points on the afternoon.
The Aggies playing a zone defense against this Rattler offense as the Rattlers move the ball around.
Oh, doing a good job confusing the defense. They're going right into the post, and Marvin Witt able to corral the rebound. Witt has a lot of room. Instead, going to bring it back, run a little bit more clock, and try to presumably find a better shot. Here's Witt again, and when you give Marvin Witt that baseline, he's going to make good things happen. That's another layup uncontested for Witt.
And credit Joe Monroe for sliding up towards the high post, allowing the clearance for Witt to go baseline.
Here's Newton. Oh, nice handling. Gets all the way. Offensive foul. Ryan Thomas doing a great job holding his ground, and he waited for Newton. A lot of credit to Newton, though. That was a tough shot to get in, as he contorted well, but foul goes against OPSU and Newton. They'll find the basket.
Here comes the
The officials will take a timeout here. I think they're going to chit-chat about the last play, one would assume.
Okay, because the basket counted at the other end. It's still a foul. That was on Jeremy.
All right, they're going to count the basket. That's why we had to change our score here on the broadcast. It is 51-47. The basket for Newton counts. He's at 21, but the foul goes the other way, and it'll have Thomas at the line since the Rattlers are in the bonus. First free throw for Thomas is good, and so the Rattlers can essentially get those 2 points back.
One of the unique rules of collegiate basketball.
Indeed, you don't see that flexed too often. Ryan Thomas, good job. Able to get both free throws to go. 13-13 remaining in the second half. Try to say that 10 times fast as well. I think we had 15-14 earlier in the first half. Here's Jones looking low. Lee Jr. jumper is good. And OPSU has been very good from the field. They have shot at a high rate. One of the many factors keeping in this game. And a lot of credit to OPSU. They don't play like a team that's 1-19. They don't walk around with their heads down. They don't go through the motions per se. They're out there battling and battling against a very good Rattler team. And they're giving the Rattlers their money's worth. Here's Witt. Had that one knocked away. St. Mary's will keep it.
Great hands by the Aggie defense. Witt had the pump fake, but active hands forced the ball out of bounds, and now the Rattlers have only 10 seconds on the shot clock.
Here's Benny over to Wilson. Drops it off. Thomas not able to finish, and the putback is good for Joe Monroe. And a timeout is taken by the Aggies. 12-16 remaining. Stay with us. More upcoming. A 6-point lead now for the Rattlers on the Rattler Network. Welcome back, Rattler fans. David Tovar, Brian McGlue on with you. We thank you for joining us on this super weekend. It is a sporting fan's favorite weekend. Of course, the big game will headline everything tomorrow, but here at St. Mary's, as that offensive foul goes against Jones, here at St. Mary's, it is a slew, a plethora, a litany of events going on. We had women's basketball earlier. They defeated OPSU 59-48. Right now the men are in a tussle with the Aggies, 55-49. The Rattler softball team leads it at last count 2-0 against ECU in their St. Mary's Softball Classic that will run through Monday here at the park at St. Mary's. And then baseball is over at Minute Maid Park in Houston, kicking off their season. Witt for three. That shot no good. So just a long list. And Brian, I'll put you on the spot here. What are you looking forward to?
As Marvin Witt, great lay-in. But what I'm looking forward to is seeing the new softball stadium. First time since 2011, the Rattlers are playing back here on campus. I'm definitely looking forward to that. Definitely, as you mentioned, a super weekend and plenty of great Rattler action to boot. And with that, with the Lady Rattlers winning earlier today, all Rattler fans can go on to Porky's and receive a free ice cream, which they can do after every Rattler victory. No matter what Rattler sport, you can go on to Porky's and get your free ice cream.
Indeed, after every Rattler home win, and there'll be plenty of those upcoming with softball and baseball back in action. That's Porky's on Culebra and delicious. I actually, a story about Porky's Burgers and More. I actually had my 18th birthday party at Porky's Burgers and More, and that's not a free plug. That's actually the truth. Love me some Porky's. I'm a huge fan of their burgers, and their seasoned fries are delicious. As OPSU gets another bucket to fall, 57-51. And we're not done just yet, folks. Next weekend, that is the main event. The new crown jewel of the park at St. Mary's, Dixon Stadium, built upon the beams of the historic VJ Keefe Memorial Stadium, will be opening, will have its official opening and dedication. That will be next Saturday at 12 p.m. 11 a.m. is start time for the tailgate. 12 p.m. and come out, support St. Mary's baseball, and have your chance at winning some prizes as Monroe gets that layup to go. And he adds to his point total, now in double digits at 10. But yeah, February the 8th, Saturday, that's next Saturday, 12 p.m. Dixon Stadium inside the park at St. Mary's. The party goes down. Here's Thomas, and he gets that layup to go down.
That was a great finish by Ryan Thomas, getting it over that stretched arm of the defender and depositing a beautiful one off the glass.
Rattlers blowing it open here now. They are up 10, their largest lead of the game. And if you could believe, at one point this was all even at 44. Since then, if math serves me right, it's been a 17-7 run. 10 minutes with 1 second remaining in regulation. Rattlers are going to try to hold off OPSU. Stay with us. More upcoming. All the action right here on the Rattler Network. Welcome back, Rattler fans. 10:01 remaining in the second half. 61-51 is the score. David Tovar, Brian McGluey on high atop Bill Grahey Arena, bringing you this Heartland Conference matchup, pitting the Rattlers and the Aggies. Newton has been neutralized in this second half, only 5 points in this period. That foul goes against Marvin Binney. That will be his third, and that will put Bill Lee Jr. at the line, shooting one. Pick up the rebound, and now they are on offense. Down low, Pierce to Thomas. Thomas gets that to go, and he's come alive here in the second half. Made some good defensive plays, and now 2 straight buckets has Thomas at 6.
And that'll be the 4th on Binney as he fouls Newton.
And Newton now in way short. And you're kind of seeing a different player than you saw knock down the 4 3-pointers and complete 4-point plays. That one way out of the mark. Second attempt for Newton is good. 63-52 the score now. Here's Bryce Smith. That one almost stolen. Newton with the quick hands, able to deflect that out of bounds. Here's Smith with the jumper. That's good. 65-52 the score.
That was a great play. Smith running off some screens, freeing himself up for that easy two.
Now the Aggies try to answer back. Jones to no avail. Monroe with the rebound, and here comes Smith. Rattlers trying to get something going offensively. They've gotten it going for the last couple possessions. Pierce from way downtown. Bang. 68-52, and the Rattlers are blowing this one wide open.
Pierce with that three has crashed the double-digit mark with 11 as he gets this rebound and looks to run.
Here's Pierce. Oh, fakes the three. Nice dish inside, and Thomas almost gets that to fall. He will now head to the line, and we'll have a chance at two more.
The Rattlers, over the last several minutes, seem to be hitting on all cylinders. Now with a 16-point lead and maybe more after Thomas shoots these free throws.
First free throw is good for Ryan Thomas, and if you can remember, at one time this was tied at 44 here in the second half.
Thomas, a 70% free throw shooter for the season, gets set to shoot the second.
And he knocks down both. An 18-point lead, largest of the game for St. Mary's. And you can only hope to think it was only a matter of time before you saw this transpire. This one is floated up and good for Lee Jr. Brings it down to 16. 18 is the largest lead of the game for St. Mary's, and that'll be a number that they'll be trying to get back to. Here's Smith. Nice pump fake all the way, and he lays that up.
He was untouched on the way to the basket as a wet spot on the floor. A couple players hitting the deck.
And it looks like Jones is grimacing. He will trot back to the bench and try to... There'll be a timeout on the floor. This is the stoppage. 7:40 remaining. Rattler fans, remind you to check out our social media hubs. Facebook.com/St. Mary's Rattlers. We're also on Twitter and Instagram at the same handle, at St. Mary's Rattlers. We're also on YouTube. Check us out, youtube.com/St. Mary's Rattlers. The all-new RattlerGear.com, where you can buy all your St. Mary's Rattler merchandise. And, of course, for all the coverage on what I mentioned earlier was going to be a crazy sports weekend for St. Mary's. Baseball, softball, and men's and women's basketball. Check out RattlerAthletics.com. 72-54. It's officially wide open. We continue on Rattler Network. Just like that, the Aggies hit a three
right after the timeout.
So it really comes like Aggies in this game in the first half, the 3-ball. Rattlers has done a good job of neutralizing that here in the second half. Up now by 15. Pierce wide open. He was ready to launch. Instead gonna defer. And now Bryce Smith will try to orchestrate this offense. 7 minutes remaining. Monroe deep inside. And he will be fouled and he'll head back to the free throw line.
Both the Rattlers and the Aggies average around 72 points per game, and the Rattlers now over that mark. The Aggies unable to find anything going here in the second half, and they're stuck under 60 points at 57 as Monroe hits the second free throw.
Hard thud there as Dwayne Matthews hits the deck. Foul looks to be assessed on Ryan Thomas. That'll be his second. Thomas with 8 points, Monroe with 12, both off the bench. Cameron Pierce off the bench with 11. Really been a game, as I mentioned earlier, a game where you want to get all these guys going. The unusual suspects, if you will, and really a team that's comprised of all unusual suspects. You never really know what you're going to get out of St. Mary's. You don't know what'll be Alexander's going to lead you, or Bolton, or Binney, or Witt. Could be a Pierce, could be a Monroe, could be a Matthews. I mean, it's really a mixed bag, and it's, as a Rattler fan, you don't have the comfort, if you will, of falling back on a said player. The same comfort we enjoyed for the last 4 years with a Kevin Kotzer, who you knew was going to give you a guaranteed 16-8, and then would dazzle you with 25 and 12. With this team, it's mixed bag. There's Cameron Pierce from way downtown, no good, and offensive board comes out to Thomas. Cameron Pierce, nice job, stays with the play, cuts, and now he is forced to give it up to Smith. But this Rattler team really does it by committee. Smith, rare turnover. Bryce Smith, backup point guard, does a great job in handling the ball. Now a three by Matthews. That's good.
I believe his foot was on the line, so it was counted as a two-pointer. And Coach Zelznak not happy with the Rattlers' effort.
It's another group that has to prove that they can play with a lead. 74-61 is the score. We'll take a timeout with them. Stay with us. More upcoming on the Rattler Network. Welcome back, Rattler fans. A trap being played by the Aggies, and Monroe is going to be hit with a traveling violation. He is up in arms, and he has to be careful. Already has one technical on the afternoon. And so Alexander and Matthews will check in for Monroe and Thomas, who were terrific in their stint on the floor, really helping propel the Rattlers to a lead as large as 18. That'll be Smith, Pierce, Alexander, Matthews, and Wilson. Jones checks in for the Aggies. He'll join Randolph, Lee Jr., Matthews, and Farrell.
Now with just over 6 minutes to go, the Rattlers definitely are not in a comfortable position. As we well know from the game of basketball, a 13-point lead can evaporate just like that, as the Rattlers have their 10th team foul, putting the Aggies in the double bonus.
Yeah, and especially in college basketball, there is no safe lead, if you will. You can only go on what the paper tells you, and that is that this team is 1-19. They're 0-13 away from home, so numbers would lead you to believe that this one is conceivably over and that the last 5:57 are a formality, but then again, that's where they're going to play out the last 5:57, as both free throws are good, and this one is within 11. Again, good job of the Rattlers breaking the press, and they do. Wilson over the timeline, he'll hold it. Looking and finding Bryce Smith. Now Bryce Smith high atop near the midcourt. Look at the Rattler offense rolling. Wilson, oh, nice dish. Nice drive, and
that was a beautiful dish by Wilson, wrapping it around the defender and finding the wide open Alexander, who draws the foul.
And Alexander will head to the line. 9 points for him on the afternoon, coming off a career game for himself against Newman on Thursday night. 19 points, 13 rebounds, and all around terrific effort by Justin Alexander. And so here he is at the line. First free throw, no good. Too strong off the back iron. J.J. Bolton and Marvin Witt checking in. They'll spell Pierce and Wilson.
Justin at the line, 1 shot.
Second free throw, no good. Here's Monroe. Stays with it. Now Bolton, and that's a good call right there. Yep. I believe that was Matthews out of bounds with it in plain sight, and the referee taking a little bit of a split second, maybe trying to make the decision in his mind. 74-63 is the score. Well, let's revisit that topic, Brian, we were talking about earlier in this game, that though this is one of those games that you could potentially circle on your calendar as a win and one that you might even take a little break from, it's all important because here is where the conference race really heats up. You got 7 more games on the schedule after this game. You got 3 only at home, 4 away, and 3 here inside Bill Goree Arena. February 13, 15, and then March 1st is the final home game of the season before postseason begins. And if you're St. Mary's, you want to extend that. You want to have more games here at home.
And that right there, great move by Alexander, and you're definitely correct, David. You want to finish the season strong, especially for the Rattlers, who are, as of right now, postseason bound. And a foul is called on the play on J.J. Bolton. That is his 4th personal foul.
Yeah, this Rattler team, of course, with very high expectations. In the last 2 years, they have won conference, so they're looking for their three-peat, as that free throw way off the mark. And then they're looking to return to regionals. And then, I mean, you can conceivably talk about maybe national title hopes that haven't been talked about since, the 1989 team that won. Hope I got that right. Yeah, it was the 89 team that won. Second free throw is good. And then here's an extra side note. Think about it. If you are this Rattler team, as Monroe drives and he is stripped, if you're this Rattler team, you want to maybe try to be that team that can win without Kevin Kotzer. As that 3 is good, and just like that, we are within single digits. That 3 knocked down by TJ Farrell. 76-67, but just to put a bow on that point, you want to be that team that can maybe win without Kotzer, with Kevin Kotzer, of course, an all-time Rattler great. His number, I'm going to go on a limb and say it will hang here inside Bill Gray here. He's a first ballot Rattler Hall of Famer, but you need to kind of detach yourself from that if you're this Rattler basketball team, and what better way than to win conference without him and to advance far. Kotzer really huge and instrumental in the greatest Rattler run since joining the NCAA. Bryce Smith wide open all the way to the end zone. Touchdown. As he gets that layup to go.
And to be honest, this Rattler team has done a splendid job.
Kind of forging their own identity, if you will. Life after Kotzer for this Rattler team has not been exactly a rebuilding year. You know, some people pegged it as it could be a rebuilding year. Some people kind of thought, can they sustain their success without a guy who was a virtual superstar in Division II and in the Harlan Conference easily. You know, probably should have won 2 or 3 straight Harlan Conference of the Year awards. Politicians politic, and he only got 1, and that was his final year. Of course, it was sweet because he was able to repeat as Harlan Conference champion, and St. Mary's went all the way to the Sweet 16 in tournament play. More on the future of the Rattlers when we come back. Right now the future looks good. 78-67. Stay with us. More upcoming on the Rattler Network. That shot put up no good by the Aggies. Here is Sands. His shot, no good. Bodies all over the floor. And now timeout is called as Cameron Pierce seems to be the last person to have possession.
That was great hustle right there by Pierce. Able to get the loose ball, preserving possession for the Rattlers.
All right, we'll keep it right here with you. 3:39 remaining in this ball game. 78-67. The Rattlers have led by as many as 18. And at one point, a TJ Farrell 3 cut it back down to 9. So up 11. The Rattlers will try to hold on here. Short timeout taken there just to gain possession. Pierce, Witt, Matthews, Alexander, and Bryce Smith, the 5 on the floor in Rattler gold. Down low is Alexander. Nice spin move. No good. Another bad break there for Alexander. Second time he has great position, just not able to finish. Here come the Aggies. Maybe trying to make one last stand here. Newton, Farrell driving. He is bumped, and he will head to the line. Looking for 2. And the headband coming out for Farrell. Maybe trying to garner some of those LeBron superpowers in Game 6, I believe, of the 2013 NBA Finals.
Interesting note, OPSU on the season, on average, allows 86 points per game by their opponents. It'll be interesting to see if the Rattlers get to that mark. They seem to be well on their way with this 11-point lead.
Second free throw is good, and if you're the Rattlers, well, you want to get as high as you can. A, to win the game, and B, as important, to secure some more free ice cream for the fans in attendance and for the St. Mary's students, faculty, and alumni with card-carrying access. 78-68 the score now, 10-point lead under 3 minutes. Bryce Smith, Cameron Pierce, they've been terrific off the bench. Marvin Witt, he has struggled by his standards. 6 points for him on the afternoon, but he has really done a defensive number on Newton in the second half. Screen by Matthews. Witt gets around. Pierce from way downtown. Bang! 81-68.
Cameron Pierce once again with a three-pointer.
And you want to talk about another career night, Cameron Pierce, 14 points, 3 three-pointers. And he has really had a spectacular game offensively. A couple jump shots, some three-pointers. Always nifty and crafty passing of Cameron Pierce. Matthews will check out. In comes Monroe. And Dwayne Matthews will be at the line shooting too. Both teams in the double bonus through the remainder. First free throw is good.
Alexander gets it over to Smith, who gets hit in the head as the Rattlers tried breaking the press.
So that foul will put Bryce Smith at the line. 81-70. Both free throws were good by Dwayne Matthews.
Smith heading to the line, a 71% free throw shooter. At the line for the first time tonight.
Bryce Smith off the bench, 7 points. Done a good job orchestrating the offense for St. Mary's. Here's another free throw. That is good. Puts him at 8 for the afternoon. 83-70 is the score. Approaching the 2-minute mark. And the Rattlers should be able to hang on here, barring any shenanigans. That jumper no good. Matthews able to corral it. Timeout taken.
30 seconds.
Timeout Aggies. We'll take it with them. Stay with us. More of coming on the Rattler Network. Welcome back, Rattler fans. 2:02 remaining. And if you are a fan of watching comebacks down 18, this was the game for you. 83-70 is the score. 2:02, as I mentioned, remaining, and Dwayne Matthews at the line. First free throw is good. Matthews has played well for the Aggies. 14 points. Make it 15 on the afternoon for Matthews.
And now the Aggies pressing, trying to cause turnovers. Alexander able to secure it, and the Rattlers easily breaking that press.
Yeah, had it. I believe it was Cameron Pierce that he gotten rid of that ball just a little earlier. Wade could have been on a breakaway to the basket, and there's Farrell.
Oh, great move by Witt. Justin Alexander with the assist on the play.
That's off the leg of Lee Jr. Good call there by the official. 85-72. Now 88 seconds left in this one.
Oh, bad pass by Monroe right there.
Gives it away, and Matthews not able to capitalize, but I don't know who tapped that in. I want to say maybe it was Matthews. Excuse me, it was Monroe. I'm not sure who they're going to officially give it to, but $1:20 remaining, and it is back to 11. Stay with us, Rattler fans. Feel free to tweet us at St. Mary's Rattlers. Welcome back, Rattler fans. 80 ticks remaining. Rattlers leaded by 11. Pierce, Smith, Thomas, Witt, and Wilson. 5 on the floor. Rattlers going super small here to try to beat the press. Bryce Smith trying to out-dribble past the lead. And does. Now left side is Pierce over to Witt. Rattlers, great job bringing this clock all the way down. Now we're under a minute. And Witt gonna hold on to this one. Witt driving. Smith gonna have to take it up. And he does. Nice move, Bryce Smith.
Great play by Bryce Smith. Wheeling and dealing, slicing through the defense as Fred Wilson, takes a shot right to the head. And Wilson quick to get up, telling his teammates that he's good.
Again, another Rattler doesn't want to exacerbate the situation. He's gonna instead defer his energy and focus to the free throw line. Fred Wilson off the bench has played well, 4 points, but it's been his hustle and defensive effort. And now they'll head over to the replay booth. Not sure they're going to replay. He was obviously knocked down. And so we'll tell you a little bit more about St. Mary's this weekend. Be sure to join us on the Rattler Network. We will have the game for you. It'll be, I think, 4 p.m. St. Mary's Rattlers over at the softball stadium. They'll be partaking in day 2 of the St. Mary's Softball Classic, but the games begin all the way from 10 a.m. There'll be games from 10 a.m., 12 p.m., 2 p.m., and 4 p.m. The Rattlers playing at 4 p.m. And that game, I believe, is on Rattler Network. Of course, for all your local listings, check out rattlerathletics.com. 42.7. Referee still looking at it. And we'll take a little bit of a break with them. Stay with us. More upcoming on the Rattler Network. So. Welcome back. Not sure what that conversation was about or the check over at the replay booth. Wilson at the line, and he knocks the first one down. Both free throws are good for Wilson, and here come the Rattlers, and Witt smartly pulls it back, and now we'll let the rest of this clock run, and not sure, and they're going to just let it run with them as well. No more fouling. Great effort put up by the Aggies, though, and in particular, Jeremy Newton, 24 points, 18 of those coming in the second half. Excuse me, in the first half. Even better was the defense on him in the second half. For the St. Mary's Rattlers, a plethora of players with double-digit scoring. Alexander, Pierce. We can add Ryan Thomas to that. This three is launched, and that's good. That will be the ice capper for this one. 91-77 is your final from Bill Grahey Arena. For Brian McGuillion, I'm David Tovar, signing off. For Rattle fans, you can check out everything having to do with St. Mary's Athletics on Facebook, facebook.com/St. Mary's Rattlers. Twitter and Instagram @St. Mary's Rattlers. And of course, for all the coverage, check out RattlerAthletics.com. Once again, your final score from San Antonio, 91-77. Rattlers victorious over OPSU.